Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a really mind-bending deep dive. We're going into China Miéville's Embassytown. Our mission, really, is to pull out the most fascinating ideas about, language, consciousness, what it means to be truly alien. We're sticking to the source material provided.
Yeah, get ready. It's a journey to this distant human colony, Ariekei. And their words, they aren't just sounds. They're like direct expressions of reality itself.
Right.
And we'll see how just one tiny, almost unnoticeable flaw in communication,
Yeah.
how they can basically unravel a whole civilization.
And how something simple, like learning to lie, could completely reshape a species.
Exactly that. It's pretty profound stuff.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Embassytown, it's this human colony on Ariekei, and you said it's remote, like edge of the known universe remote.
Geographically, yes, but also conceptually. It borders this other dimension they call the
Okay, what is that exactly? Sounds intense.
It is. The text describes it as this huge, tidal, non-Euclidean hyperspace, sort of in Ewer's space.
Right.
Yeah. It's what allows for faster-than-light travel. But, and this is crucial, it's incredibly dangerous.
How so?
Think currents, storm fronts, but hyperspatial ones. So conventional navigation just doesn't work. You can't just plot a course.
So how do they travel through it?
Only very specific humans can do it. They're called immersers.
Yeah.
They need intense somatic control, like bodily awareness and a really unique mental state to consciously navigate the immerse.
And our narrator, Avice she's one of them.
That's right. She was born in Embassytown, actually,
Yeah.
then left for years to train as an immerser, and then came back.
And she describes it almost like symbiosis with the ship.
Yeah, exactly. She says immersers push the ship as well as it that pulls us. It's not just steering. It's this deep connection.
Wow. Okay. Less like driving, more like merging with the journey.
You got it. Blurs the lines completely.
So we're in Embassytown, on the edge of this weird dimension. Let's meet the locals, the indigenous people, the hosts, or Ariekei. What makes them so alien, beyond looking like, what is it, insect, horse, coral fan things?
Yeah, the description is wild. Gift wings, eye corals, crab-like walk. Very alien. But their real alienness, the truly mind-bending part, is their language. With a capital L,
Language, capital L. Okay.
it's polyvocal. So two distinct voices, a cut and a turn, woven together. They cannot speak them separately.
Why not?
Because,
Yeah.
and this is the core idea, their language is a direct function of their consciousness. It's not symbolic for them. When an Ariekei says tree, they aren't just referring to a tree. They are, in their minds, expressing the literal essence of that tree. The word is the thing.
Whoa, hold on. If the word is the thing, does that mean they literally can't lie?
Exactly. The concept of saying something they know isn't true. It's nonsensical. It's like trying to speak a contradiction into existence. It just doesn't compute for them. Believing something false is equally impossible.
That's hard to even imagine. It makes you realize how much of our communication is built on symbols, on abstraction, on the possibility of untruth.
Absolutely. And you can see why this created a massive problem for first contact. Human languages, like our common tongue Anglo-Ubic, just sounded like noise to them, like empty barks.
Why?
Because our words, for the Ariekei, lacked the necessary mind behind them. There wasn't that direct link between thought and utterance they required.
Right.
Recordings, AI voices, nothing worked. It needed that conscious intentionality.
So, an impossible communication gap then. How did humans ever bridge it?
With a really ingenious, if slightly unsettling solution, ambassadors, with a capital A.
Ambassadors, like diplomats?
Sort of, but very specific. They're usually cloned twins.
Clone twins. Why?
Because they are bred and trained for perfect unity of thought and speech. They achieve this empathic unity.
Ah, so the two individuals function as one speaker in the host's perception.
Precisely. The Ariekei perceive the two bodies as a single unified mind, which finally allows them to understand language. The ambassadors can speak it because they are that unified consciousness the hosts require.
That explains why a cleaved ambassador, like Bren we read about, one whose twin has died, they can't speak language properly anymore.
Exactly. The unity is broken. The necessary condition for speaking language is gone for them.
Okay, here's a twist, though. This unique setup, this twin unity, it lets the human ambassadors do something the Ariekei can't, right?
Yes. Paradoxically, it allows them to lie in language.
To speak an intentional untruth using this perfectly literal language system, that must have blown the Ariekei's minds.
It did more than that. It became fascinating to them, exotic, almost like a performance art. It led to these things called festivals of lies, where ambassadors would intentionally speak falsehoods, and the hosts found it utterly captivating.
A festival celebrating lies for a species incapable of lying. That's Miéville for you.
Yeah, pretty much. But this delicate, strange balance, it doesn't last.
Right. Things go wrong with the arrival of new ambassadors from Bremen,
Uh,
Ezra.
Ezra. They are described as impossible by Embassytown standards.
Why impossible?
Their internal link, their unity,
Yeah.
it works differently. They aren't perfectly unified like the previous ambassadors. They are somehow fractured.
And their fractured language has an effect.
A catastrophic one,
Yeah.
totally unforeseen. Their imperfect, slightly off language, it acts like a drug on the hosts. The Ariekei become instantly, deeply addicted to it, to the weird, unmoored meaning, the contradictions in Ezra's broken speech. It gets called the God drug.
Language itself is an addictive substance. Wow. What happens to the Ariekei society?
It just collapses. Utter chaos. Their city, which is biorigged, like grown from living materials, it starts to shudder with relief when they hear Ezra, then convulse with withdrawal. The entire population basically becomes addicts, desperate for the next fix of Ezra's voice. It's a linguistic epidemic.
That's terrifying. And this crisis splits their society, doesn't it?
Profoundly. You get these extreme reactions. Some hosts trying to break the addiction, do something drastic. They self-mutilate. They remove their fan wings, which are their main sensory organs, the mind's main doorway.
They blind themselves sensorily.
Essentially, yes. It makes them languageless. It cures the addiction, but they lose the ability to speak or even think in language. They become the absurd, the fan wingless, and they turn into this militant, vengeful faction. They want to purge the God drug and humans along with it.
So you have the addicted masses and the absurd who've cut themselves off completely. What are the humans in Embassytown doing?
Trying to manage the chaos, basically. Ezra, the source of the problem, are kept under guard. They're forced to keep performing language, just to keep the addicted city from totally tearing itself apart from withdrawal.
So they're sustaining the addiction.
In a way, yeah, it's damage control.
Yeah.
And one half of Ezra, he's shown to be quite cunning, even as he's declining himself.
But there's another response too, right? A counter movement trying to actually fix the underlying issue.
Yeah. Yes, and this is crucial. Avice, our narrator, along with Bren, the cleaved ambassador, and these secretly exiled ambassadors, Yil-Sib, they start working with a small group of Ariekei who are called similes. These are hosts who are already sort of predisposed to understanding symbolic thought, like one called Spanish Dancer.
And what are they teaching them?
They're teaching them to lie.
Yeah.
But it's more than just deception. It's about fundamentally rewiring language,
Yeah.
introducing signification, the idea that a word can represent something else, that it can be separate from its referent. They're essentially teaching them metaphor, abstract thought.
The book really emphasizes how incredibly difficult this is, teaching them to say things like, I am like you, you're like me, I am them. Concepts that rely entirely on comparison and abstraction, things their language just couldn't do before. It's about making something true through assertion, not just description.
It's a linguistic revolution, literally changing how they think.
And this leads to open conflict.
Oh yeah, full-blown war erupts. It's Ezcal's addicted forces, manipulated by Ez, against the fan-wingless absurd army. It's a war for survival, sure, but it's also a war for the future of Ariekei consciousness. What will language become? The absurd want to wipe the slate clean, go back to a pure, unafflicted language, free of humans and the drug.
And Avice is caught in the middle of all this, dealing with personal stuff too, like her husband Sile trying to save the Ariekei his own way.
Right, Sai's betrayal is a big part of it. He thinks killing Cal, the other half of Ezcal, will somehow fix things, but it's obviously not that simple. Avice is really navigating this incredibly messy, high-stakes transformation.
Does it lead anywhere? Does Embassytown survive?
It does, but it changes drastically.
Yeah.
They're facing this relief ship coming from Bremen, the core human worlds, which represents control, maybe even assimilation. So Embassytown decides to redefine itself. They lean into their unique position, their knowledge of the Immer. They become a vital Immer port, a frontier fueling station, a hub for deep space exploration into the unknown parts of the Immer.
So leveraging their unique, dangerous location becomes their path forward.
Exactly. A new purpose born from crisis.
And the future. Humans and Ariekei.
The book frames it as a new order. Humans and the transformed Ariekei have to figure out how to coexist. These altered Ariekei, the ones who can now lie, use metaphor, think abstractly, they will become the new kind of ambassadors between their city and the outlying host settlements.
Wow. The formerly literal species becomes the masters of signification.
Kind of ironic, isn't it? And Avice, as an immerser, she's positioned to lead these new dangerous voyages, exploring directions and for distances no immerser has gone, into the expanding unknown.
So bringing this all together, for you, the listener, what's the big takeaway here? This deep dive really shows language isn't just talk. It's this living thing, right? It
Right.
shapes reality, consciousness, the fate of whole species.
It absolutely does. And it throws this really provocative question back at us, doesn't it? If learning to lie, learning to use symbols fundamentally changed the Ariekei, opened up new ways of thinking, new culture, what parts of our reality, our own experience, might be transformed if we really understood the mechanics of our own language better? What are we locked into?
Yeah. And maybe, especially today, with all the information flying around, the truth we're looking for isn't always just the literal facts. Maybe meaning is also created in the narrative, in the metaphors, even in seemingly broken phrases or misunderstandings. What unthinkable truths, like the ones the Arikai discovered, might be just waiting for us, just beyond how we currently use words, makes you wonder.